Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. We got 2 home run races. Judge and Pujols, the AL mid with a huge series, 24 innings in one day. Players only. You just gotta release your hands. What is going on, everybody? Can't swing hard enough. Coach Storielli, Coach Plouffe, Coach Davis Wimbledon on the 1s and 2s. September 19th, 2.5 weeks, Trevor Plouffe, from knowing every playoff matchup. We will be diving into that. We're going to be doing Talkin' Baseball every damn day during the playoffs because we're built different. And here we are today. Man, 2 guys hunting down history, Judgy, Pujols. The Guardians, potentially a series away from burying the AL Central, as they have the White Sox coming up. And so much more around the league. Some young guys on the Braves. Trevor, how are you doing, big dog? You had a big weekend.
I did have a big weekend. A lot of good baseball. Got to watch some of that. I had some extracurricular, if you will. You know, I went to Herge's party. It was excellent. Was I rubbing elbows with sharks? Yes. Sharks have elbows, people. People don't know that. Then I went to the football game yesterday. Rams took a victory there. Tough one, but they held on there. It was good. Good weekend, but a lot of good ball here. I know you were at a wedding.
Yeah.
How was that? How was your weekend? Did you get watch some baseball?
Always. Weekend revolves around baseball. Congrats to my cousin Dean, who got married this weekend. A lot of fun. A lot of people turning up. They have a place on my Uncle Pete. The river down there gets pretty rowdy, so there's a rowdy bunch. The DJ was turning it up.
Pushing P.
I was pushing P, came back, watched the Brewers beat up my Yankees a little bit. Saturday night, late night, 15 innings, Guardians, Twins. Does it get any better? It does not. It absolutely does not. So I had a good weekend. I just told you in BBD, and you guys laughed at me. I have another wedding next weekend, obviously. And then it's this week for me is Judge break the home run record, maybe Pujols for 700. Wedding this weekend. And then I'm in playoff mode, bro. I'm, couple ice baths, maybe a massage, but I'm ready to deal this postseason.
Are we going to have to do that? Make sure our body is right so we can go every single day? I mean, we're athletes. We just don't have a bat. We have a mic. That's what people are saying. They're not saying that. But you know what?
Yeah.
People who talk all the time, and dude, I talk so much.
Right.
I'm sick of it. But people do things. Do you think that we should have a regimen here? Like a throat lozenge?
Yeah.
Maybe a tea with some honey. How now, brown cow type stuff. Sometimes I get a little slurry with my words as I'm talking, I'm tired, whatever it is. So I need to pronunciate as we get into these playoffs. It's on me. It's on me.
When you come out to visit, I think I got something for your throat. Let's get into the baseball. SeatGeek, the geeks of seats. If Albert Pujols is playing around you, go get a ticket to that game. You might see something that might not be done again in your lifetime. If Big Aaron Judge is playing a baseball game around you. I know I bought two game tickets on SeatGeek for this week, Tuesday, Thursday. I'm watching history, people. Done. And SeatGeek, they are the geeks of seats. And with code Talkin, you will get $20 off tickets at SeatGeek. Download the app. It's crazy easy to use. Connects to my Apple Pay. I just press 2 buttons, and I've got tickets to go watch Judge break the home run record. Whoops.
That's like Apple's paying for it.
It's basically.
That's not how it works.
Code Talkin, $20 off your first SeatGeek order. Are you ready for some National League, Trev? Because I got to tell you what, we've got some sweep week here
Yeah, it's a big sweep week in the
Yeah.
National League.
Yeah.
There's some what is you doing babies on the other side of that too.
Oh. All right, let's do it.
Get into it.
Why don't we start off in the big city, the crosstown Mets in Trevor's Flushing Queen. RIP to the Queen. I think we put her under today. Mets sweep the Pirates. 4 games, baby. The Mets, they had been struggling against some of these lesser teams recently. Not in this one. We got Clemente Day. Lindor goes ding-dong wearing the 21. That's important to him. We got Nito throwing out Greg Allen in the 9th and giving credit to Guillorme for the tag. That's when you know we're playing good team baseball, when the catcher gives the tag credit on that one. And hey, how about Scherzer returning tonight? We love that. The Mets, they get their 4 games. By the way, Eddie Escobar, he's been one-dotting in September. Our guy. Every day, Eddie. Good for the Mets. They get the 4-game sweep. The Atlanta Braves keeping pace with those Mets. They sweep the Phillies. Hey, Philly. No. We've come too far to do this. But they ran into the bad guys. Max Fried, you know what he does. Spencer Strider, setting records, punching people's tickets. The stuff he is doing is absolutely unreal. Ronnie Acuna hit a home run that it's one of those swings that only Ronnie Acuna's got in the bag. When the ball jumps off his bat, it goes. Also, William Contreras in that final game. Braves sweep them, and Phillies get into a dangerous spot in that wild card. That was the one thing you couldn't do. But like I said, the good teams are sweeping, and the Dodgers are a really good team. They sweep the Giants 5-0, 7-2, and then they take the final game in extras just to twist the knife. You don't think the Dodgers had a little piss and vinegar against these Giants this year? They went 15-4 against them after the Giants won the division last year. Man, when the Dodgers turn it on, they go. Quickest team to 100 wins since the 2001 Mariners. And man, they are just a continuous force. Betts with the go-ahead RBI in the 10th to get the sweep. Padres, they can only get 3 of 4 from my Snakes because the Snakes pour out a drink. Trey Jameson makes his debut and shuts them out for 7 innings. Not bad, kid. Snakes win the first game 4-0, but then the Padres come back. Joe Musgrove with a powerful performance. Brandon Drury returning to the place where it started for him. He likes it there. They talk about that a little bit. Big final 3 games for the Padres as that NL wildcard. You Darvish shutting them out. Snell with a big start. I love it. Cardinals, they take 3 out of 5 from the Reds. 5 games set. Boogity, boogity, boogity. TJ Friedl making great defensive plays for the Reds. We love that. I'm no machine. I just Albert. 698 is in the books. It's in the stands. Insanity. I can't believe we are here still. That 4th game is crazy. Quintana, 8 shutout. Hunter Green, 6 shutout. Cards walk it off as Goldschmidt crowns 1 to 3rd. Kniser, the backup catcher, gets hit with the throw. And then we got a little ex-Yankees fest. Sessa versus Monty in that final game. I love it. Don't care. Rockies take 2 out of 3 from the Cubs. These teams ain't been about it for a while. Good pitching matchup. Stroman and Marquez in that first game. You get good pitching in the second one, too. Rockies take 2 out of 3. Not much there for you. How about a little natitude to wrap it down? They take the first 2 games against the Fish with Arms before. Sandy, complete game. 1 earned run. His 5th complete game of the year. Sicko stuff, as some kids did some stuff for the Nats in the first couple games of this series, but they take it 2 out of 3, and that's what happened in the National League. Yeah, I don't know.
You are something else.
I am not the same, if that's what people are asking. Mets, 93-55. They are a game up on Atlanta, who are 91-55, tied in that all-important loss column. Phillies, we'll get to them in a second. Sheesh. St. Louis, 87-61, 8-game lead in the division. They will finish that out. The Dodgers have clinched 144. Hello. That should hit you. This NL wild card, Trev. My goodness. The Braves are the Mets. Currently, the Braves are in there, 11 games into the wild card. The San Diego Padres are now your second team. Hello, Stimulator. They're a half game up on the Phillies. 4-game losing streak for the Phils, 3-game winner for San Diego. And then Milwaukee is 2 games back of the Phillies, hoping that them or San Diego can have kind of the ultimate slip up to catch them. And those are the NL teams that matter at this point in the season, Trev. So with that, I think you were going to compliment me, and then I started doing the standings. Do you want to still do that or no?
I think I did. And I said, like, great
Okay.
job. You crushed it, or
Okay.
that's all I got for you. I mean, look, dude, you, the burns are your thing.
Right.
Okay. So I'm not just going to come pat you on the back every time you do a great one. That's what
That's my job.
you're built for that.
God, feeling stocky today. Let's go out to your Flushing, Trev. Mets sweep 4 games. They continue to set the tone, keep the pace. And hey, to sweep 4 games any time of year against any ball club is tough. They do it. They do it in Mets fashion. They get the starting pitching. And man, I cannot wait. Week and a half till that Mets-Braves series, but they continue to be the pace setter in the NL East.
Yeah, you do what you got to do against the Pirates. I mean, a sweep is very difficult, especially a 4-gamer, but when you're fighting for your division life and wanting that bye, I mean, this is everything you could hope for. You wish you gained some games, but obviously Braves take care of business too. But look, Carrasco, Walker, Bassett, DeGrom, and then tonight you get your guy back in Scherzer coming off the oblique thing. Hopefully he's all right. I mean, this was exactly the type of series they needed. And then you get your guy back, and it's like, okay, we're here at September 19th. You mentioned Escobar getting it going. Like things are kind of falling into place here. And you're right that it's a massive, massive series coming up here. And I believe we talked about it, the Mets will have the tiebreaker unless the Braves sweep all the games.
Yeah.
I believe that's what's going on here. So great time to get hot if you're the Mets.
Yeah, and they, like you mentioned with their starting pitching, I mean, you start drooling about the playoffs. We know our guy John Boy loves when he kicked the starter to the bullpen. Big drip. Tyler McGill is coming back for them. He should be out of the pen. Like you said, Scherzer back tonight. Yeah, how much fun does that get if you have DeGrom, Scherzer, Carrasco, Taijuan Walker, Chris Bassett? I mean, who do you kick out to the pen? Because you could get a little help there. I mean, Mets fans sound off in the comments or ask our guy Jerry and Jolly with Shea Station. Who do you have, Trev?
I think you go DeGrom, Scherzer, Bassett, and probably Walker. But then you'll have Carrasco ready to piggyback. You have sort of some long guys. Tyler's going to go back and be back in the pen, but you're going to have those guys that are stretched out enough to give you innings in case someone falters. I mean, do you piggyback Walker and Carrasco? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think you need to. Walker's been pretty damn good lately, and Carrasco can kind of just be your long guy maybe, but you could go 5, but you want those front-end guys to get more starts. So I think a lot of it, Jake, depends on how Scherzer's feeling.
Yeah.
We talked about this a little bit this morning on Baseball Today, but Scherzer preemptively took himself out, said he felt like a bruising pain in his side, and that's never good. I mean, typically that means like something's coming. He shut it down, had a good rehab start. But as I told Chris, the intensity you can't match in any bullpen and any rehab start. Like the intensity when he comes and pitches on a major league field is just different. So You got to make sure he's good. And if he's good, then I think that's probably what happens. You pare it down to 4, you have a guy that's long, and you run it, and you're happy with that because you got 4 good ones, 5 good ones.
Yeah, I mean, Carrasco, he gets 11 Ks in that first game, and you think, he's, I think, 96th percentile in chase rate. Feels like he, coming out of a bullpen, being the opposing team, I would least rather see Carrasco compared to Taijuan Walker. I think starting pitcher-wise, you can expect somewhat similar performances. But yeah, I think Carrasco's stuff would play more in the pen. I don't know. I'm going to have to bump Jerry and Jolly on that a little bit. But yeah, they're getting some health back there. Our guy Trevor May has come back. Interesting. And man, you talk about playoff formulas. You know who's running on the Mets right now? Terrence Gore, baby. MLB legend. Terrence Gore, and he had a big steal, and then he went to third on the throw. So the Mets are very much working on their playoff formula. And the Pirates, they are not. They are not.
A lot of people in the chat are saying Carrasco will no doubt be the 4, kicking Walker to the pen. So
I don't know.
We'll see.
We will see. Eddie Escobar, hot on and off the field. Your Braves, Trev, they sweep your Phillies, and we've been talking about it a lot. And by the way, we're talking about the Brewers in a little bit. Mets-Brewers coming up, those are 2 teams. Mets are trying to keep pace in the division. Brewers are trying to keep pace in the wild card. So you talk about that fake September playoff baseball, those games are going to matter. Braves
100%.
Braves sweep the Phillies. Fried and Strider, what those guys are about right now is just kind of unbelievable. And Ronnie, we also get bad news for the Braves in this series. Our guy Albies came back, and now he's out again. But, I mean, for the Braves, they're so loaded. Like, we had a conversation. What are they going to do with Vaughn Grissom? Well, there you go. Sometimes these things figure themselves out. A formula not so different from the Mets. When you get Fried going 6 innings 2, Strider 6 innings 1, Odorizzi ends up, our guy, being the least impressive start, but Albies with a 4 RBI day in that one. Acuna, excuse me. So Braves roll, and they keep up pace, and the Phillies put themselves in a, oh boy, they haven't been the low man on the wild card in a minute.
I'm not going to give them a what is you doing, baby, because it is the Braves, and you're playing, in Atlanta. Tough series, having to go up against Strider and Fried, and Odo even does his thing. But yeah, that race right there, man, like one of these 3 teams between San Diego, Philly, Milwaukee will not be in the playoffs. I think if either San Diego or Philly ends up being one of those teams, that's tough. Like Milwaukee has been on the outside looking in for quite some time, man. So if they were to grab a spot, congrats, Milwaukee, you did a good job. If they end up out of it, we're like, okay, Philly's got to be really, really careful. Only 2 games ahead of them. They lost 4 in a row, 3 in this sweep right here. You got to get going. But that's what you have. You're supposed to have stoppers for. I said this about the Phillies. They're not going to have prolonged losing streaks because they have some of these stopper guys, like a Nola, like a Wheeler. They need that. This can't continue. Like they need to go into the next series and do the thing. And that's, a very obvious statement, but the end of the baseball season is approaching us. Crunch time is here. 2 games up on Milwaukee.
And I think part of the story for Atlanta, because you're right, Trev. I mean, if Philly or, Philly with Dombrowski and the Padres with trading for Soto, if one of those teams doesn't make the dance, oh boy.
Yeah, and Philly, they crushed it without Harper. Then he comes back, and you don't want to like how can that even? How does that work? Baseball's a strange sport, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's where I was going with Atlanta. Ronald Acuna gets his first 2 homers of this month. September 19th. He goes back-to-back on the 16th and the 17th. And his stats on the year, I mean, are not where you think they would be. Basically, only the on-base percentage is. So when we do everything we've done with the Braves this year, Ronald Acuna hasn't really been Ronald Acuna Jr. this year. He's got a 775 OPS. Career, he's an 893. So, we have the Atlanta Braves, who are currently an 88-win team, 91-win team, excuse me. And Ronald Acuna, who I think there were some quotes. William Contreras said he thinks he's the best player in the league. Jake Odorizzi says that he's a guy there's no cap on his talent. This is a 91-win team that arguably their best player hasn't been playing anywhere near his peak performance. So if he starts to go, man, these Braves are scary. I think I've told people on here before. I think I placed it on Christmas Day. Must have been a weird Christmas, but I just put a little cheddar on the Braves to win it all again, and I don't hate that bet.
I wonder why you did that. What was the reasoning?
No idea. Christmas always an emotional day
Christmas,
for me.
emotional. Santa probably didn't come to your house like always.
Again. It's another year. Santa Claus.
That's interesting, though, man. And we have some fun stats on the Acuna stuff. And we know him and Ozzy Albies are boys. And, sometimes you feed off a teammate. There's energy there. You like to either one-up each other or there's just camaraderie, whatever it may be. We got this DM to us by a Braves fan. And June 13th, and why is June 13th meaningful? That's the first time that Ozzy went out with an injury. Through June 13th, Acuna, 307, 407, 516 for 923 OPS. After that, since June 14th, 711 OPS. So does he need his boy in the lineup? Ozzy, get on the bench at least, bro. We need you to suit up, put the spikes on. No turfs for you.
Yeah, we need to hear the click clat.
Put the spikes on, bro. That's interesting, though, man. I don't really think that's it's probably cherry picking a little bit, but there could be something there as well.
Sometimes stuff works out that way. If you're the Phillies, like you said, got swept by a better team. Still got to put this in your rear view because guess what? Off day, 2 versus Toronto, which Toronto's games still matter. In their head, they're chasing the Yankees and they're trying to get the pole position in the AL wild card, and then you're facing Atlanta for 4 again. So talking about pseudo playoff games, it's happening. A huge week for the Phillies.
Yeah, there are some. You shouldn't be schedule watching. We've told ourselves this so much. There are times where the sub 500 teams will come to bite you, but this looks like a tough stretch of games for the Phillies for sure. They got Wheeler going on the 21st. They got Gibson going. Is that today? What's today?
Today, yeah.
No, he's going tomorrow. They have the day off today. Gibby, be a stopper. Wheeler, be a stopper. We need someone to step up and do that. That's what you have to have if you're the Phillies. And then, the Braves come right back into town. Milwaukee doesn't have an easy schedule either. It's up for the taking, man. Like I said, there's 2 spots for 3 teams. And that's kind of what you have to love as a baseball fan. One's going to be on vacation early, I guess.
Yeah, if you're a sicko baseball fan, or maybe your team's kind of out of it, how about Zach Wheeler, Kevin Gossman Wednesday night, little Phillies Blue Jays.
Blue Jays been playing good ball. My guy Chappie's super freaking confident right now.
I tell you what, dude, I just got super tight butthole for the Phillies. It's a bad week to have a bad week, man.
And you know what? There is one team. I forget who I was looking at. Their schedule is. It might even be. I don't know who it is. We'll get there. I'll find it as we go on in the show. But there's some tough schedules like the Phillies have, and there's some really easy series or regular season end of the regular season series.
Cakewalk season. Speaking of any team that these guys play as a cakewalk, the Dodgers sweep the Giants. 14th shutout of the year in the first game. You're usually going to win those games. And then, again, there's some historic stuff happening around baseball this year. I know you can always say that. Like, there's the old phrase, Tim Kirkagin, you're always going to see something at the stadium that you don't see. Baseball's got away with that. Aaron Judge chasing down the home run or the American League home run record. We won't do that whole thing. Albert Pujols, I'm starting to talk myself in circles of how crazy 700 is. And, like, not that we may never see it again. We like saying that in sports and then we see it, but we're not seeing it for another, like, 15 years minimum. And that's if, like, Juan Soto continues to be God's gift to baseball. The Dodgers, the 2001 Mariners, I know the history books don't talk about them because they lose in the playoffs, but, you know, they were the best regular season team I've ever seen. I still remember them. I mean, how cool that team was. And the Dodgers are the first team to be, like, somewhat on pace with them in a little while. They 14 of their remaining 17 games are at home? Like,
yes.
What, Trev?
And, you know, Dave Roberts said it the best. At the end of a 10-game road trip, you go into extras against the Giants, your rival, and you somehow scratch and claw and get a victory because, you know, Mookie has the go-ahead RBI double. But, like, just thinking about that, staying in the game and getting that victory, I mean, those games singularly, like, don't mean much, but you start to add up the times where you nutted up. You start to add up. There's probably a better way to describe that than nutted up, but I just went there. Yeah. But you know what I mean? There are times where you have to step up and, like, there are hard-fought victories and times where you can just say, oh, man, whatever. Like, we lose this game, no big deal. It's just one. But the Dodgers just stack and stack and stack those impressive victories, and that's how you get to where they're at, man. And it's really like, for a team like the Dodgers, sometimes it's just how you play because you're so good.
Yeah. You
know, some teams have to, like, dig down deep to get those victories. And the Dodgers, like, if we just go be ourselves, we're going to win this game, which is a nice feeling to have.
That Mariners team was so gross. John Olerud, Brett Boone, Carlos Guillen, Mike Cameron, Ichiro, Edgar Martinez. Mark McLemore was a tough at-bat. Don't let anyone tell you different. Yeah, the Dodgers would have to get a little ridiculously hot. I mean, 15-2. Again, I don't think it's their number one priority, but this team is going to land in a historic place either way. And yeah, again, the Giants, once the wheels have come off, they've come off fully. And there's our guy Gabe Kapler and Jock, a bunt situation that people are kind of up in arms about. I don't know, man. I was having a moment today where I was thinking about the Giants this offseason. Supposedly they're in on Judge. I think they're going to be one of the more interesting team profiling projections for next year because, I think they're going to make a lot of moves. And I think they're going to be sitting there and saying, what are the differences between our 107-win team and our team that's probably going to end up below 500 and where that lands. Yeah.
Health is a lot.
Yeah.
Do they have Rodon next year, or is there an opt-out in this?
I think Rodon hit an innings limit that he can now opt out. I believe it was like 130 innings pitched.
Okay, well.
110. So
yeah, 110 innings pitched. And he gone.
He gone.
Gosh, I wish they wouldn't have given him that. He probably wouldn't have signed it if he didn't have that opt-out, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Dodger's going to Dodger.
And you know what? We talked about this a little bit this morning. You know, Sandy does this thing for the Marlins, goes a complete game, so kind of like gets himself back on track. But Urias has been the guy, man. Like, he's creeping up on that NL Cy Young. He's right behind Sandy in the Vegas odds now. Probably as close as it's been in a long time. So I think maybe you get 2, maybe 3 more starts out of both these guys. And Urias, if he finishes strong, and Sandy has to falter, but it's definitely still there.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, the bigger notes from the Dodgers, Gonsolin doesn't expect to be built up to a starter's workload before the playoffs, so your Dodgers formula changes a little bit there. And some bigger news, and a guy that, again, I don't know if a lot of the newer fans understand. David Price says he's retiring after the year. It's baseball can be tough. By the way, 38 games this year, a 2.58 ERA for Price are not too bad. not struggling too bad on the way out. If you didn't see this guy in his prime, nasty. You did.
Oh my God, I face him so much, dude. This guy's a great dude. You know, like I always tell you, every once in a while, I'm going to tell you to root for somebody just because they're that kind of person. David Price is one of those people. I think a lot of people remember him coming up in 2008, coming out of the pen for the Rays as they made it to the World Series, then turned into a hell of a starter, consistent as can be through a lot of innings when that was cool. And yeah, man, just consistent, good dude. $271 million in earnings. Congratulations, David Price.
What's in?
Was he like the original Vandy boy too? Like,
what's in his?
Did he start that whole thing?
What's in his basement?
Jordans. The guy likes shoes.
Shoe guy. That's fine. Let's see. Vandy in recent years. Pedro Alvarez. I'm searching this so wrong. Rip Sewell.
What are you looking for?
Oh, I'm looking at the Vandy connections. David Price. Yeah, kind of recently.
Like he was the guy, and then all of a sudden, all these pitchers started coming out of there all the time.
Only 6 pitchers you faced more than David Price, Trev.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, against Hughes of the Tigers with those rotations and stuff. I think I hit him all right.
Not too bad. 345. Whoops.
Not a lot of slugging.
10 for 29. 2 doubles, no homers, but walked you once, scared, struck out very few times against him.
Yeah, I saw I mean, he's a lefty, so I saw the ball well off him. All right, don't talk about me. People hate when we talk about me.
It's my favorite.
Except for me,
show.
I love it.
One of this first single was ground ball to weak third base. So I don't know what.
Wait, hold on.
About.
People are saying the Price denied it yesterday. What does that even mean? So he said it, and then it's like, no, I didn't say that.
Taking it back. I don't know.
It's fine.
So we take back our tribute to David Price.
Sorry, Dave.
And by the way, Dustin May, 5 no-hit innings. Andrew Heaney, 4 shutout innings. So there's your bonus pieces. The Padres, the San Diego Fathers, they take on my Snakes. They were not enough for Dre Jameson. I'm trying to tell you guys, get in on the Snake train while you can. There's a ton of kids. There's a ton of kids doing stuff. I don't know what it means, but I hope it means something. Crazy MLB debut for him. Awesome. But then the Padres come back. They blow him out on Snell Day. Musgrove versus Gallen. How's your West Coast pitching matchup? And then Yu Darvish does what Yu Darvish does, along with Juan Soto hitting a home run, which can that kind of get him hot with the Padres. They've been waiting for that. We'll see, but San Diego, I know it's only a half game, but not seeing yourself as the next man out to Milwaukee, I bet that feels okay.
That feels pretty good. And you have to be happy with, the starting pitching here. Snell has been lights out. So that's got to make you feel good as you're, looking at your postseason rotation. Musgrove looked good. I think he'd been struggling a little bit. I mean, look, we love this team. This team was supposed to be like pushing the Dodgers this year in the NL West. Now that didn't happen whatsoever. They make a huge splash at the deadline. And you're right, Soto just hasn't really gotten it going to the point where they need him to get it going.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because look, it's September 19th. And like in a week, everything could change about the way we're talking about the Padres. Everything could change about the way we're talking about the Phillies and the Brewers. I mean, this is the crunch time. I know it's 162 and we got to figure everything out. And you think teams, but like you can get hot here and just run it. You can get hot here and absolutely run it. They have the team to do that too. So it's exciting to watch, man. This is like the time in baseball right now. And usually so we go to October 7th. What's the countdown day? I didn't do that yet.
The countdown day?
Yeah, do we got 19 days left in the season?
So October 5th is the last day of the regular season. That's the day that it's a Wednesday, games start at the same time.
16, 17 days left, man.
Yeah.
16 days.
Gosh, I love that.
Yeah, and obviously Iron schedules they host St. Louis, and then they go to Colorado, and then they host the Dodgers after that. So, yeah, man, I mean, all of these wild card teams, you just got to avoid the banana peel. I mean, to go full Mario Kart, you can't hit it right now. And that's kind of what the Phillies did. Man, I am nervous about this Phillies week. Toronto and Atlanta. Sheesh.
What's funny is you just said Phillies and Gibby just texted me right there. Just came up on my screen.
Tell that fucking hobbit to shut up.
He would never curse.
No,
so
he would never curse.
We're ripping off
never...
10 now.
And he's not a Lord of the Rings guy. Gibby's not a Lord of the Rings guy, right?
He could be.
Could be.
There's life lessons in there. Darvish 6+ innings and 21 straight starts. People.
Dude, get me the Phillies to this dance, man. The way we talk about other teams starting pitching. Look at Snell, 7 innings, 1 earned. Musgrove, 6 shut. Darvish, 6 shut. You do that in this wild card, even a DS, and Soto and Machado catch one. The other team's going home. What just happened?
My Twins are down 3-0 already.
God, Trev.
We haven't even got to talk about their series yet.
We're getting there in a minute.
They're
yeah.
They lose today, it's over.
Yeah, it might be over. Cardinals and Reds played 5. I don't know. Friedel made some plays. Pujols kind of remains the story. The plays Arenado is making at third base. I know you were getting all boned up over that. Yeah, special. He's my guy, number 1.
Yeah, it's hard to, say anything different when you watch the dude play day in and day out. The play you're talking about, he ranges to his right, dives on the floor, has absolutely no window to throw the ball. The only thing he can do is throw the old underhand looper over the shoulder. And to get any sort of velocity on that is crazy because the guy has a lead off of third, is going on contact. You have to throw a strike, and it has to be a hard strike, and he did it.
Yeah.
He found a way to create a lane that most people wouldn't even think to throw the ball right there, and he did it.
And I mean the Reds end up losing on a similar play where the throw hits the catcher there. More superlatives for the Cardinals as usual. Trev, I'm really in it deep about Pujols chasing 700, and
okay.
Just looking at where some of the young guys or younger guys are at in baseball. Like I think Harper's going to give 500 a run. Trouter's going to give 500 a run. Maybe Machado. Machado's young and that, but we're still talking 500.
Vladdy.
So if you get to the younger guys, there's Vladdy, there's Acuna, and there's Soto. But in that same breath, it would be the same way that we're talking about Harper and Trout and Machado now. Like, those were the young guys of yesteryear. These are this year's young guys. That 700, I know you like doing the math when you do, 30 years of 25 homers and you start doing that. I think people need to put into their scope. I know 700 is cool, and it doesn't seem as cool as it used to because I think Bond's blowing it out of the water. It was kind of Ruth and Aaron, and it was like, Henry Aaron just did it forever, and he was the greatest home run hitter of all time for that. Babe Ruth was Babe Ruth. Pujols entering this club with the way pitchers are pitching now. It's I know people are appreciating it, and the cell phones are out when he's hitting. I think he needs to go another level. I think it's kind of like toe-to-toe with what Judge is doing, because this could be the last 700. It could be the last 700 in our lifetime. It could not. That's how sports works. But, it very easily could.
In our lifetime, man, I plan on living for a long time. I think we might see it again, just because the way guys train now, it's getting more difficult because the pitchers are getting better, and you're seeing a lot more pitchers, Pujols is homer off of 450 guys or something like that.
Yeah.
But each year, like what Judge is doing, we've talked about that. Like, he's seeing so many pitchers each year. You're never going to see a starter the third time unless he's dealing. You're not going to get those. Typically, you don't get cheapies unless you get the position players coming into pitch, which has happened more than ever this year, right? Like, how did that become a thing? I thought we were going to be done with that, but we're not. So I guess those are the only cheapies you can get, and I don't know, man. We'll see. I'm never going to give up on that just because I think like we're placing such a value on slugging these days that we might get that again.
And Hunter Green, I know we talked about it when he first did it. He sets the record for most 100+ mile per hour pitches in the same breath. That's one of the guys that's on the opposite on the mound. I know we talked about it more when the Reds were more in it. Hopefully Hunter Green being an absolute stud is a big topic for next year.
And we had don't forget our guy Helsley with the immaculate inning.
Yeah.
When I had Christian Yelich on sequence, we went over a homer that he hit off of Helsley. And he told me, he's like, I like this one because this guy's filthy. Like, got a good at bat, but this guy is absolutely filthy. I'm like, okay, like this young guy, I know he throws hard, but this guy has established himself as one of the better relievers in all of baseball. It's a lot of fun to watch, man. Yeah,
you know, he won me over in the All-Star game. He's just dotting up 102. Like, oh, this is normal. Cubs-Rocks. Yeah.
I watched a little bit of that Stroman start.
Good. Him and
first
Herman Marquez. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. He looked good. And actually both of them did. And then I was like, wait, Zach McKinstry's on the Cubs. That was my thought.
Yeah.
When I was watching that game. And he had 2 hits, solo home run. They end up winning that one. And the Rockies take the next 2. I don't think we have to go too far into this. Unfortunately, both these teams are out of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know where they stand, either of these organizations, to be honest with you. Going into 2023. And
I don't know if they
Stroman has some quotes talking about, we're letting the young guys play. They need to get established. This is the time where, you're trying to get your foot in the door and then walk through that door. So, I think if you're a fan of both these teams, you can look at that. Like, who are some of our young guys coming up? Are they going to make an impact? How do they look against big league pitching? How do they look against some of the better teams as we get into some of these series? Because I know it's tough when your team's out of it. It's tough to sit there and watch these games. But I'd implore people to do that. Go check the young guys out. Go see what we got. What's the roster going to look like in next year? Like, who are we going to keep? All that sort of stuff. There's still some good players on both these teams.
Yeah, I mean, a Cubs, like I think I mentioned last time, Ian Happ came into the office. They're playing around 500 for the past couple months. And again, they should have the bankroll, and I think that division can be more open than the Rockies in the NL West. I'd buy a little Cubs stock, and I'd sell whatever's remaining of my Rocky stock, especially with my Snakes and all that young talent. Speaking of young talent, Marlins-Nationals. Nats take 2 out of 3. Your guy, Ildemaro Vargas, with the go-ahead RBI single in the 8th. Joey Meneses is always doing something inside the park, home run. And then Sandy Day. Sandy not trying to let your guy Julio get that Cy Young.
Complete game number 5 for him. And I think I said this before this start. I said he's got to get it going because Urias is on his heels and Max Fried is there. And, even Zach Gallen is close. And Sandy answered, man. He's thrown so many more innings than those guys. Yeah. I think it's like 50-something more innings than those guys. It's just impressive. It's impressive, but like, isn't it weird that you start to worry about his arm? Even though, like, why are we worried about his arm? He looks great. But you start to think about all those extra innings. I don't know. I don't know where I'm at with pitch count and innings limits and all that stuff. I'm just not sure. I think it's case by case scenario. But when a guy has this many more innings than anybody else, you applaud it, number one, because hell yeah. And then number 2, you're like, wait a minute, like, should he have this many innings? Should they shut him down now? Like, this is their guy.
It's case by case, and that's why nobody has a good answer. Justin Verlander has 12 seasons with 200+ innings. Like, he is built for that, and they talk about the pitching motion a lot and how easy does it look. That's why a lot of people think a guy like Garrett Cole could potentially age well because his throwing motion is very simple, nice and easy. It doesn't look like there's extra strain. Verlander, similar. Sandy, I mean, the dude's a freak show, so I don't.
Freak.
I don't know. Trev, can you tell me what happened in your American League? And I think chronologically, we might even be starting with a team near and dear to your heart.
Well, my people, we're going to be starting out in Chris Rose's land. That's the Cleveland where my Twins went in, and the Guardians have taken 3 of 4 so far. They won the first 3 games before the Twins had Joe Ryan on the hill, the stopper. They're playing Game 5 right now. It's 3-0 Guardians. This was a chance for the Twins to do something. They didn't do anything. 4-3 Guardians, 5-1 Guardians, and the big one, second game of the doubleheader on Saturday, 7-6 Guardians in 15. Like I mentioned, Joe Ryan wins 3-0 yesterday on Sunday. He goes 7 2/3 shutty. I think he had something like 12 no-hit innings in a row dating back to the last start. That's really nice. But the Guardians did the dang thing. Twins are basically out of it. White Sox are still hanging tight. Go Guards go. 3-0 right now. My goodness. Mariners at Angels. 4-game set. They played 3 already, and the Angels have won each game. 8-7, 2-1, 5-1 Mariners. This is a mini what is you doing, baby. Ohtani does his thing. Angels won a wild one. Renifo, our guy, has had a series. I almost gave my award. I'm going a different route for my award, but he 2 home runs, including a 3-run homer in the 6th of Game 1, 1 from each side of the plate. He does it again in Game 3. 2 more home runs, a leadoff homer, and a go-ahead 2-run homer in the third. What's funny is Julio Rodriguez led this whole series off with a homer. First at bat. So it looked like the Mariners were going to cruise. Angels have taken all 3, and they play again later tonight. Mariners, let's go, baby. Moving on. Houston. Astros in town for a 4-game set. A's in town for a 4-game set. The Astros take 3 of 4. 5-2 Astros, 5-0 Astros before the A's won the Cole Irvin start, obviously. Then 11-2 Astros. I mean, what can we say about the Astros? I mean, McCullers is there. Verlander's there. Framber does his thing. He takes the all-time record for consecutive quality starts away from DeGrom. I mean, they are firing on all cylinders. Yordan had a crazy series. I'm going to be talking about him later. They're firing on all cylinders. They got a young guy that just came up. The Astros are incredible. Rangers at Rays. Rays take 2 of 3. 4-3 Rangers in Game 1. They got to Kluber. Our guy, Nate Lowe, is just having an incredible second half. Then the Rays came back 5-1, 5-3. Had some good pitching performances because that's what the Rays do. Taylor Walls, the chiropractor, he had a homer. Siri had 3 hits. And then in that last game, Betancourt and Siri go back-to-back to tie and take the lead in the second. And that's all they needed. Rays take 2 of 3. Orioles at Blue Jays. Blue Jays take 2 of 3. 6-3 Blue Jays games 1 and 2 before the Orioles won the last game 5-4. Everyone's kind of hitting. Bo Bichette's doing his dang thing. Chapman's doing his thing. Springer, all the guys you need to be going for the Blue Jays have started to get going. They lose the Manoah start, but he pitched well. 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run. Adley Rutschman, really good series for the Orioles, but the Blue Jays take 2 of 3 there. White Sox go into Detroit. They take 2 of 3. 3-2 Tigers in Game 1. That was in extra innings. They won it in 10, and then the White Sox win Game 2, 4-3 and 11 before they just unleashed Andrew Vaughn with a grand slam in that third game. They win that one 11-5. Victor Reyes had that walk-off sac fly in the 10th against Hendricks in the Game 1. Then Moncada had the go-ahead RBI single. And then Eloy had a sac fly in the 11th in Game 2. And like I said, Vaughn, grand slam in that last one. White Sox hanging in there, man. I think they're only, 3.5 back of the Guardians with a big set coming up against them this week. They take 2 of 3. And I believe my last series, Red Sox take 2 of 3 from the Royals. 2-1 Red Sox, 9-0 Royals because Singer was on the hill. That's been the case for the Royals, huh? And then the Red Sox opened up with a bloodbath, 13-3 with Pivetta on the mound in Game 3. Red Sox take 2 of 3. And my friends, that is what happens in the American League. Oh, wait! I'm doing the Interleague Recap as well. Brewers take 2 of 3 from your Yanks. 7-6, 4-1 Brew Crew in games 1 and 2. 12-8 Yankees in the last one. We'll talk about it, people. Cue the music. Get it off.
Get it off, Trev.
Judge, 2 homers?
Yeah, on that last day, the Brewers not necessarily throwing their A guys and gets Judgy 2 homers closer. Trev, fantastic job in the American League. The New York Yankees have a 5.5 game lead on the Blue Jays. Okay. They have one more series coming up in a little bit. Let's see if the Blue Jays can give the Yanks a little bit of a scare. I don't think they can, but we will see. Tampa, half game back of them, and the Yankees have tiebreakers on both those teams, so those division leads are also almost a game more than what I said. Orioles, man, if they had won a couple more, they could be a little more dangerous. The Guardians have a 3.5 lead on the White Sox, like you mentioned. They were really hoping to get a little more help from Minnesota today, as the Minnesota Twins are 73-73, 6 games back.
4-0 now.
Oh, boy. They might be dropping to under 500. Houston, H-Town, Funky Town, 96-51, 15 games up on the Seattle Mariners, who I didn't realize that they kind of pooped the bed a little bit. So Toronto is your first wild card game. Again, people, this is very important because the top wild card team will be hosting. So Toronto, for environment and vaccine reasons, could be a very interesting hosting spot.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. They are a half game up on Tampa. Same in the loss column. Did Tampa and Toronto play? Check that out. Seattle is now bringing up the rear, 80-65. But, man, that's why I mention it. The Orioles, who they haven't been playing their best of late, they're 4 games back, which if it was 3 or 2, I feel like we could really talk about them again, but I kind of can't. They play?
Tampa hosts Houston, then hosts Toronto for 4 over the weekend.
I think that was the schedule I was looking at was the Mariners, I believe. Oh, yeah, it's the Mariners.
What do they got?
Oakland, Kansas City,
Yep,
Texas, Oakland, Detroit.
Wow.
All sub 500 teams to finish the year. You got to take care of business. I mean, you just got you're getting swept by the Angels. We can't really go too far into that, but my goodness, this is the schedule that you need if you're a Mariners fan or if you're on the Mariners, which, Jake, you almost were once.
During that Cal Rally big dumper times,
No, you never were. No.
Apologizing to them, I had to become little dumper.
Hey, hold on.
Yeah.
You reminded me of the whole COVID situation that's
Yeah.
going on in baseball. I told people this way back when. I said, when September comes, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some funny business going on with some of these shots. And the people that didn't get to go play during the regular season and who said, they're not going to get the vaccine, I think we might see them up in Toronto. That would be shocking to me if we saw a team have to leave some players at home.
Yeah. I mean, again, this isn't the real conversation of this isn't what Talking Baseball is great at. But I'm pretty sure Robbie Ray is not vaccinated.
I'm just saying, I know that. I'm saying things happen in these multi-billion-dollar sports
Right.
like we saw with the NFL last year, and ain't nobody missed the playoffs.
You're not talking about drug smuggling Robbie Ray into Toronto, are you?
I'm saying there might be a doctor that goes like this and just accidentally misses his arm with the shot.
One of those little kid needles that just...
I'm not saying that's the right thing to do,
Right.
people. I'm not condoning that type of behavior. I'm just saying I will be shocked if people were left off a postseason roster. I'd be shocked.
They let that become the story.
Very interesting to see how that plays out. But like you said, Mariners with that schedule, why don't you guys just host it in Seattle, baby?
And I'm not bringing this up because of my prop bet. I don't give a shit about that.
Right.
Eugenio Suarez having to go out.
Yeah.
That's tough for them. He's been banging it, driving in runs.
You seem really
a lot of
bad.
the team is they're hurting a little bit right now. The Mariners are.
You seem really sad over that. Trev, Cron Pod, we got away from it for a second. Guardians, Twins, I think we've been saying it. We've been writing it in pencil. I think we're about to write it in pen, but I think Minnesota's watch has ended.
It's quite possibly, especially with today. They're 6 back going into today. They're already down 4-0. You know, if you win the second game of that doubleheader, which they had plenty of chances to do, it went 15 innings. You said Josh Naylor gave the universal sign for cat.
Yes, kitty cat.
Okay. These head-to-head series here at the end, they mean so much, dude. I mean, when you lose these games, I mean, every single time. I mean, I know it's obvious to say this, but you're losing a game. Those things add up. If they went and got this game, they'd only be 5 back. We could dream upon it. They lose this game today, they're 7 back, and I don't think there's any coming back from that. So, yeah, just tough for them. And they got outplayed this year. And the Guardians are playing really well. They're a really good baseball team. I balk at the notion that they're the team that everyone wants to play. I don't think that's the case. Tristan, he's pitched a lot against the Twins this year. 7 innings pitched, 3 earned runs. Had a good start there. Then the Beebs does his thing. And then Joe Ryan, stopper for the Twins. I mentioned that. He's been throwing really well. Amed Rosario was the hero of this series for the Guardians. Every time I looked up, he's driving in runs, getting hits, making big plays, everything. So the Guardians just played ball. They answered the bell when they needed to.
8 hits in one day for Amed. You may hear about him a little bit later. These Guardians, people that have been with us for the full year, know where I've been at with them, where I was like, I kind of like this team, but with a little more payroll, just a free agent here, a free agent there, I felt like this team could be a lot more full. Part of the reason why I'm not part of the Guardians front office anymore is, I didn't know Oscar Gonzalez would come up and be a 295 hitter. I didn't know Steven Kwan would put together a full season in his rookie year. And the step forward Andres Jimenez has taken, he's leading that team in WAR. Like if you're a WAR person, he currently has Jose Ramirez beat. So I obviously didn't know some of that things. That being said, I feel like they would have room for a nice free agent, another bat in that lineup. They are a good team. A little bit in spite of their front office. And, I mean, let's be honest. We talk about teams being the mold. All the owners around baseball see a team like this with this payroll winning this amount of games, and they start drooling, and they say, how do we do this? And the secret is a ton of young talent all over the field. Bieber, McKenzie, Quantrill. Class A in the bullpen is having a special season. 68 games, a 1.27.
He's sick. When both those guys, like the game that the Twins win, Duran closes it out with his nasty 93 mile an hour. I don't even know what the hell it was. What do you even call that pitch?
Yes.
Off-speed pitch at 93. Got to give some love to the Twins. They did fight back in that second game of the doubleheader. Nick Gordon has the homer to tie it. They had chances to win there. Didn't happen. And then I got to give a shout out. We had Louis Varland, who's a Minnesota dude.
Ooh, Louis V.
Had a tough start. Ramirez pumped one a high heater. Ramirez being able to get on that path like that, on that high pitch, is so impressive. What if short guys can do that?
Yep.
What's up with that? Brian Dozier, shout out.
Yeah.
But there was another Minnesota native. It's Wallner, I believe, made his debut and hits his first homer. Big hunkin' lefty dude. Always got to shout out my Minnesota boys.
Proud for the great state of Minnesota. Their baseball team is dead. Talk about interesting off seasons.
Yeah, they got to figure out some stuff for sure.
Ooh. Jake Cave with that gray in the beard. The next one we have on here, the Mariners, who we just talked about a little bit. Angels bust out the broomsticks on them, and they're playing a 4th today, so maybe they'll put the broomsticks away. But you get Ohtani Day. Detmer shuts them down. A little bit of a shootout in that first game. Scott Service talking to the media, saying we're in a little bit of a shit storm. It's a fun one. But like you said, they are a little banged up. Suarez, Julio sat games 2 and 3 after he had hit 4 home runs in 4 games. Like you said, your boy Rengifo has a big day. He has a couple big days for the Angels.
Rengifo and Ohtani. They beat the Mariners, basically. Rengifo in those bookend games so far has done it. Then Ohtani has his thing. He throws, what is it? 7 shutty. He has the RBI double in the first. I mean, he's done everything that you could ask him to do this year. He's been incredible. Angels, like I said, it's a little mini what is he doing, baby, with the Mariners, although, we mentioned they had some people hurt, and sometimes this happens in baseball when you have a couple players just have massive series, and if you're kind of struggling a little bit, they can beat you all on their own. That's what kind of happened here. And the Mariners, where are we at? They're 4 ahead of the Baltimore. God, that would be something if they made that interesting. But we mentioned the Mariners schedule, who they have coming up. I think Oakland's kind of like, hey guys, we'll get you right.
George
kind of
Kirby,
who they're playing.
George Kirby deserves a shout out. He since July 1st, he is the highest F-WAR of American League pitchers. Do with that whatever you want, ahead of Verlander and Ohtani. So George Kirby, probably not the name that jumps to your head when you say best pitcher in the AL since July 1st, but in some metrics, he is. Mariners, luckily I just found out about your schedule. So, hey, take care of your business, whether you're banged up or not. Get those guys right. And another update from Halo Land. Phil Nevin was a friend of ours when he was the Yankees' third base coach. John wasn't sure what the terms they were on because of a couple breakdowns this year. Update, they're texting. Phil Nevin's still in. He was reacting and very much enjoyed the double ejection breakdown. So that's good news.
Okay, that's good.
Joe Madden's Mohawk. What?
You know what? If you're an Angels fan, fuck it. This has been a crazy entertaining year. Maybe not entertaining in the way that a Disney movie's entertaining. Maybe entertaining in the way
Hostile.
A very depressing movie can be entertaining.
Can't look away.
But you had some crazy things happen. Yeah. Taylor Ward looking like the next Mike Trout. You obviously have regular Mike Trout and Shohei, and you got so hot and everything was going well. And then you had a 12-game losing streak. You fired your manager who had a mohawk. Your GM showed up and the motherfucker had a mohawk and had to fire him.
Old man.
And then, I don't know. I guess it's not that fun for you. Never mind.
Brandon Marsh, not in Anaheim anymore and hitting really well with the Phillies. That's a little anecdote.
Why did you bring that up?
Angels, he was there. He's not. I don't know. Astros take 3 out of 4 from the Athletics, and that's obvious. Like you said, they win on the A's win on Irvin Day. That makes a lot. I know you're getting, I think, one of your awards, maybe talking about one of these Astros guys.
Yes.
Like you mentioned, McCullers, 6 innings, 2 earned, 11 Ks. He says he's feeling sharper as they head to the postseason. Yikes. The other thing that jumps out, we've got a graphic on here that Matt put in, that the Astros bullpen, again, probably one of the last things you talk about when you talk about the Houston Astros. Since towards the end of August, they have been first in basically every category.
This team is firing on all cylinders right now.
Fuck, man.
They're good, dude. We talked about, I made a point. I think we're going to put out some social clips on Baseball Day about how you should be feeling about the Astros. So go check that out. I want to spoil everything I say on Baseball Today. But man, it's hard not to root for these guys. If you really like baseball, go watch them play. I'm going to talk about Yordan in my award. He's getting it.
Teaser.
Okay? They have every single thing you need to win a championship. And for them, we talk about teams that are trophy or bust. They're one of the teams. They can actually say that.
Trevor, you have a beautiful wife, true?
The most.
The
beautiful.
most.
Yeah, she looked fucking good this weekend, too.
Love that for you guys. If her life was on the line, your queen, and I offered you Astros versus the field in the American League to go to the World Series, what would you take?
I'd take the Astros.
I might be with you, man.
I'd take the Astros. I don't like thinking about my beautiful wife in those situations.
I just want to get a serious answer. Sometimes I take
is that it's not that hard of a question. I think they're the most complete team in the AL. I don't think there's really anybody else that matches up with them.
Right, but I guess, with baseball being baseball and any team getting hot, usually there's a little more variance than that. Like, if you told me Dodgers versus the field, even with how good the Dodgers have been, with how good the Mets are and the Braves are, I think even St. Louis, I think I would take the field against the Dodgers. With how good the Astros are right now in the rest of the American League, like, the Astros are kind of the bet.
I get what you're saying.
I'm sorry for threatening your beautiful wife.
Yeah, that's weird. I just don't like that. Is Judge still the MVP?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm at the point now where I say there's no wrong answer. What Judge has done is
Like that.
absolutely incredible.
It's a very mature move from you.
It's the way I feel too, because I felt dumb like always talking about Ohtani and trying to downplay Judge's season that he's having. It's dumb to do that, and I don't want to be a dumb person.
Look at that. That's beautiful. You might hear something about that later. Another teaser. That's how we do it.
Framber. You mentioned Framber.
Framber's unreal.
25th consecutive quality start. He broke Jacob deGrom's single season record. Think about that.
I try not to.
Where do the Astros find these guys?
Yeah, and again, putting scope on everything. Jacob deGrom's start this week, I think, was 5 innings, 3 earned, like 14 Ks, something stupid. But that doesn't qualify. And he's Jacob deGrom still. And Framber Valdez. I hope he busts out for you. I hope he busts out like a real little playoff glove.
The smallest. I have one I should send to him,
Yeah.
but it's righty, so that doesn't make any sense.
That would be even more impressive.
Do we have anything on the A's? Do you want to mention them at all? I mean, I don't. Tony Kemp's been doing it a little bit.
No.
Chad Pinder's my guy.
James Caprillion has a big body.
He did. Yeah, great start.
Great start
by
big
him.
body.
Yeah.
Rays Rangers. You mentioned your guy Nate Lowe or Lowe.
Nate Lowe.
God damn it, the Rays. Against his former team. How about that?
Yeah, it takes Kluber up top. Go ahead, 2-run shot in the third. 25th homer on the year. He's absolutely been going off. People are real mad at us for not really talking about him when we were talking about AL first baseman. I think we're talking about Vladdy and Abreu. A lot of people are sending us stats on Nate Lowe. We get it. We get it. He's improved defensively too over the second half. Like, he's a stud.
Yeah.
But the Rays come back and they take care of business 5-1, 5-3 in the next 2 games. They got, I think, Rasmussen going tonight. Like, they're set up. Where are they at? They're 1.5 up on Seattle, half game behind Toronto. Do you think they care about having home field? Do you think they care about that?
The Rays.
Yeah.
No. Like, yeah, I mean, any team would say, yeah, I'd like to play at home, but I don't.
662 home, 458 road winning percentage.
Those are big numbers. We know the
It's a
Rays
swing.
like some numbers. I mean, every team wants home field, so it's one of those. Like, I don't know. Do I see the Rays like trying to potentially burn out pitchers to win more games to get that home field? I don't think so, but maybe they'll prove me wrong. I don't know. I mean, a 3-game set, like, I think in the 3-game set, I've talked about the home fields of Seattle and Toronto and how cool those environments would be. Obviously, playing in the Trop stinks, but is an advantage for the Rays. 3-game set, I mean, you just want your best guys ready to go full tilt for 3 games. Like, that's kind of it. Like, roll the ball wherever it is. And the way the Rays think, dude, like, they don't. You know, I know the record obviously speaks and any team wants to be home, but you know that Rays mindset. Like, they'd love to go into Seattle. Here's your first playoff series back and just fuck their shit up.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm cursing today.
All right. Glass now making some rehab starts in Durham. He could be coming back.
He's back on the Chris Rose rotation today.
This is the time, man. We had some really good efforts there. Betancourt and Siri go back-to-back, like I said, to tie it, and then they take the lead. That was early on in the game. He's really Betancourt had some quotes about being really stoked to have this opportunity to be in the big leagues again with this organization. I love it. I love what the Rays are doing.
Jose Siri with the Rays, 723 OPS. That's a 112 OPS plus, which, okay, that's not head over heels, but when you can run and play defense like that guy can, that is head over heels. So if they tapped into him, watch out. And yeah, Taylor Walls, the chiropractor, I think he got our guy Taylor Hearn. So I was texting Taylor Hearn. I almost brought it up. I wasn't going to bring it up to Taylor Hearn. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm cursing today.
Why are you doing that?
I hate it. Blue Jays-Orioles?
Blue Jays-Orioles. Blue Jays take 2 or 3. I was trying to come up with like a saying. You know, you say 4-2, fortitude. There was 2 games at 6-3. So I was like, what can I say for that? Do you have one off the top of your head?
6-3.
6-3.
Nothing.
Okay.
Sorry.
Like I was mentioning on the recap, you know, some of the big name guys that you need to get going have been doing it. Game 1, Springer has the go-ahead 3-run homer in the 5th. Chappie has 3 hits. He's got 2 homers. He hadn't homered since August 20th, so almost a month where he hadn't homered. He has been swinging the bat well. And then second game, Tapia, who I really love to watch play, 3-run double in the 5th. I mean, he makes it 6-2. Barrios has a decent start, 6 innings pitched, 2 earned runs. It's good for him. I think he got his ERA right under 5 now. Keep going, bro. Come on. Be the ace I want you to be. And then the last game, Rushman to go ahead 2-run single in the 9th. I believe that was off Romano. So that's really nice for them to get their little victory right there like that against a tough bullpen that the Blue Jays have. So he, on that note, Romano had never blown a save at Rogers Center. He was 32 for 32 coming into yesterday. And Rutschman clipped his ass and got him.
The only guy with odds that aren't ridiculous for that AL Rookie of the Year is Adley Rutschman, which that's insane on a few levels. Man, speaking of catchers, Alejandro Kirk and Danny Jansen this year, what they've combined for Toronto behind the plate is insane. Danny Jansen actually with a higher OPS than Alejandro Kirk. Smaller sample size, but the production they're getting out of that position. And yeah, when you start looking around that Blue Jays lineup, you know, you're seeing positive OPS pluses from basically every position. It's a big year for these Blue Jays. Like you mentioned, Barrios. Guess what? If you go into October and you drop a good start, everyone will forget about that high 4s ERA. This team has clearly had October on the mind from the start of the season. And, hey, they deserve a little credit. I know the Orioles is a mental warfare a little bit because we still think of them as the Orioles, and then they were cute and fun and good, but now they're coming back and they're not really in it. The Blue Jays, 2 Orioles series in the past week and a half, they took care of their business both times, which if they didn't, we would be talking about the AL wild card and the Toronto Blue Jays very differently. So, kudos to them.
Kudos. Also, a triple play turned in this game.
Love a good triple.
Chappie, line drive, shortstop, stepped on second, threw to first. Easy.
Immaculate inning doesn't do much for me. I don't know if you caught that before, but I don't know. It doesn't do anything.
Really?
Yeah.
It's very tough to do that. How many have there been in the history of the game?
There's not a lot, but I feel it's
technically
years,
like the most rare thing because of how many innings happen. So there's 9 chances.
9 pitches, 9 strikes. You're fucking telling me that doesn't impress you?
Like when you tell me all that,
it
sounds it does sound very cool and it's very impressive.
It's impressive. Okay, article up on MLB.com right now. The immaculate inning isn't as rare as it once was. There was 8 alone in 2017, and there was none for like a 30-year stretch. So I think the way pitchers pitch and hitters hit now, it's...
Why are you bringing this up right now anyway?
Because you mentioned it before. I really like triple plays. I think those are nuts.
That's why.
Like to get all 3 outs in an inning? Are you kidding me?
Imagine being the pitcher. Like, fuck yeah, dude.
But like in a way, that's kind of what they're supposed to do. Like, go strike him out, pitcher. So soft. Okay. Not the bullpen, guys. We know. White Sox-Tigers. White Sox take 2 out of 3. They stay alive enough after losing in extras that first game. I don't know. They're lining up for their final stand coming up against the Guardians. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Vaughn, grand slam in that last game. How about it?
Yeah, and there was some interesting plays going on. I forget what game this was. I should have had it on my notes, but Joe Kelly pitching, strikes a guy out, pass ball, like gets it and recovers for the out at home against Baez. It was a kind of a trippy little play there to see. Tigers. The White Sox take care of business. They are smack dab in the middle of this thing. And look, I know you're saying Baltimore 4 games out.
Yeah,
they're done. Chicago 5 games out. Are they done too? Or do you believe in them more than Baltimore?
No, I have them done for the wild card.
Okay, only division for them, which they're 3.5 back.
Yeah.
Massive set coming up against the Guardians.
Right. Like I really hope that Friday I'm sitting here saying, wow, the White Sox have been saying all year they've been waiting for a moment, and they give it to the Guardians. Do I believe that's going to happen? No. I think the White Sox are going to lose in crushing fashion, probably 2 of the 3 games, because that's just been this season. But 2.5 weeks, and they've got their final 3 games against the Guardians. This is literally, I've been saying this is it with the White Sox since July. This is actually it. And man.
So 7-9 against them this year so far are the White Sox versus Cleveland. They kind of played completely different opposite styles of baseball. You got one team that's pretty spunky and energetic, and you got Josh Naylor yelling all over the place, and Kwan running the bases, diving all over the place, some really nice young players for Cleveland. Then you have the White Sox who just kind of want to show up and beat you. But that hasn't worked out for them too much. I wonder if this is going to be a very energetic series for both teams. Are the White Sox going to steal some of the energy from the Guardians and use that? Because they need to.
Yeah.
They can't just waltz in. I thought this team was going to waltz in and just beat everybody. That ain't happening. You got to have some fire with you. I can't wait. This is what it's all about. This is a series for your season.
Yeah, we talk pseudo playoffs, right? For the White Sox, this should mean everything. Like you said, 7-9 this year. So if the White Sox did sweep, that would give them the tiebreaker, which makes the hill that much easier to climb. And they basically have to sweep. If you don't, even if you win 2 out of 3, you gain 1 game, and there's just not enough games left this year. So I am unfortunately and insanely still rooting for the White Sox because I'd love a little bit of anarchy this season. Cease, Lynn, and Cueto coming off an off day, so you're going to have a fresh bullpen. I don't know. I hope we're talking. I genuinely mean this for baseball because I've been tough on the White Sox this year, and rightfully so. I mean, talk about one of your bigger underachieving teams this year. Cleveland and Detroit, 6 games. Reel off a 6-0, kid. And you're here. But they've given nothing to muster that.
I think that's what you're talking about if you're in the Guardians locker room right now. We control our own destiny. Let's go win some series, and that's it. We don't have to go on a run. We don't need to go on a run. We need to play good, consistent baseball. We need to win the series. Not just the White Sox series, just we need to win series, and that's it. You take care of your business, continue to do what we're doing. That's it. White Sox, on the other hand, have to get hot. They have to reel off essentially a sweep against the Guardians. They have a bunch of games against the Twins left. I think still 6 games against them. They're 6-7 against them on the year. Familiar opponents, but they got to get hot and they got to go. And the Guardians just have to tell themselves, slow it down. So just win the series, man. It's a good position to be in.
White Sox fans, sound off in the comments. Is it going to be rowdy? It's in Chicago. I don't know. Is the fan base still have the energy to get behind this team for one more series, or are people kind of burnt out?
I think so.
Genuine question. I don't know.
In my experience, when Cleveland is good and when there are big games and playoff type atmospheres, scenarios, they show up and they create it. It's a good sports town. They they suffer. Chris Rosa tells me every single day how it's very tough to be a Cleveland fan. But when you are a Cleveland fan, you're like a diehard. So I think the atmosphere will be good.
Okay.
Is it in Cleveland?
It's in Chicago.
Ooh. Oh, they're going to show up.
Yeah,
oh,
good.
Them too. Yes, yes. And that's a very hostile environment. Like maybe one of the more hostile environments in all the big leagues. When the White Sox fans are there and they're mad and they need victories, it's very, very hostile. South Side, man.
South Side.
These people, they used to, oh my gosh, crush me.
Yeah, what they say
all
to
the
you?
time. Yeah.
What would they say?
It's a fun place to play.
Okay. Royals, Red Sox.
Hold on. I just got Twins are on the board. My phone died. I can't see what the score is. Come on.
Your phone died? What are you doing?
I don't know. I got to charge it.
Phone died?
Look, I think we can kind of skip this one, Jay. We got to get to the awards. We got to get the stand-up performances. Singer with a stop. Red Sox are disappointing. I don't know. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, Royals are playing their kids. Red Sox DFA'd Plawecki. Rich Hill had some strong words on that, saying it's not all numbers. We're human beings. Removing a guy like that from the clubhouse is a big hit for a lot of guys. I would say everybody. You know, they traded Vasquez when they did their kind of trade deadline shuffle that hasn't paid off. And, yeah, hey, I don't know. I mean, front offices, sometimes you got to make the tough move, and I don't know if it's the right move, and maybe they're playing. I know they're playing Wong behind the dish a little bit, and maybe getting guys playing time will pay off. But, yeah, I mean, for Rich Hill to come out and say that, you know, you got to be feeling some sort of way.
I guess we got to really shout out Brady Singer because I mentioned it before. He's kind of been the stopper for them on the year, Jake. 25 games started. He's got 307. This guy's got a chance to live in the twos.
Yeah.
23-year-old dude about to turn 24. No, never mind. He's 24 right now. He's 26. What the hell am I talking about? Look at the right thing, Trev.
You're okay. Yeah, we got to see him against the Yankees end of July, and he had just started making the turn, and it passed the eye test. The kid's a stud. He was a big prospect. Sometimes it takes a little bit to click in the bigs, and, yeah, his last 63 innings pitched, a 2.14 ERA. I think I told people before to buy stock. It might be too late. He's the real deal. Trev, I'll hit my Yankees really quickly. They went to Milwaukee. The Yankees have been playing better baseball, 8-2 in their last 10. They head to Milwaukee. They put up a 5 spot in the first 2 innings. They're up 5-0. Offense then shut it down from there. Montas gets hit again. He's getting MRIs. He has not been the Frankie Montas that Yankee fans were hoping they were getting. Second game, their offense doesn't click. Willy Adames hits a big 3-run homer, 4-1 game. That's about it. And then in the last game, Cole versus Alexander, Jason Alexander, one of the worst baseball savant pages I've seen. Sorry, Jason Alexander, but a lot of blue bubbles. And Cole starts getting rocked. He's given up the gopher ball a lot recently. The Yankees fight back. They end up scoring, I think, 9 unanswered, something like that. Judge with 2 homers. It wasn't the Brewers-A bullpen crew or starter. Milwaukee showed some really good fight to win those first 2 games. Again, their back's up against the wall. They can't have a slip-up series, and they didn't. Brandon Woodruff shoved, and Anthony Rizzo came back for the Yankees, and Judge hits 2 home runs that last day. So they end up with their heads held higher than I guess you'd expect us Yankee fans to be after dropping 2 out of 3.
Yeah, if you're the Brewer crew, you probably have to feel pretty good about this series. No matter how the Yankees are playing, they're going to be a difficult matchup, especially if you have Cole going and Judge doing what he's doing. Garrett Mitchell kind of getting a lot of press out there. Like the way he plays the game is pretty fun. He has the walk-off single, like you said, and Adames reaching 30 homers is big.
Yeah, him and Rowdy.
I remember when he got traded over there. I said, this guy's a guy.
Yeah.
Even when he was with Tampa in the World Series, we were waiting on the Adames like big moment. I kept telling you guys, it's coming, it's coming. there was something about him when I got to see him play in person. I just knew that he was going to be a guy, and he's turned into everything that the Brewers could have hoped for and more. And then Judge, man. 5 balls over 110
One game.
in one game.
Yeah.
4 for 5.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck, man. He is absolutely locked in. I was telling C. Rosie, man, the way his swing is right now, like fastballs are going to go to center field or right center, and then off-speed pitch is going to go to left center or like left, depending on where he catches it. But his path is so good. He's getting to his pitch recognition phase and then just letting everything take over. Like doesn't have to think right now because his swing is so good. Just see the ball, and he knows that his path is going to be there. And he's either going to, like I said, take that fastball and it's going to go right center to center, or he's going to take that off-speed pitch and he's going to get out in front of it a little bit, but it's still through the ball. Just like how your swing is always through the ball. Same thing with Judge. Every once in a while, he'll cheat on a heater if he gets to the right count and he'll pull that, but just watch. And even counts most of the time, that's what's going to happen with him.
He's just never fooled. He's never uncomfortable, and he's making history. Watch every Judge at bat from here on out. I know MLB Network, I think, or MLB the app, I think it's free for college kids. Maybe get some college kids login if you're not a college kid or something. I don't know. But watch Judge the rest of the way. Trev, that brings us to our standout performances.
Standout
Performances are brought to you by DraftKings, the official sports betting partner of the National Football League and our John Boy Media Pick'em League. I may have gotten mine right. Niners, -8.5. Whoops. DraftKings, they're offering $5 on any NFL team to win, and you'll get $200 in free bets. Also, they're doing their stepped-up same-game parlays. You can add a little juice to some bets that already have a little juice. I hit a nice one. Actually, Trev, I'll show off in your face because I know you have care. I got the DraftKings going this weekend. Did all right. Had a couple winners. My cool one, I boosted a parlay. Oh God, Jake, you're blowing it.
What are you talking about right now?
Okay, I did the over in Washington, Detroit, over 48.5 points. Amon-Ra St. Brown, anytime touchdown, and DeAndre Swift, 50-plus yards. $10 to win 76. Done.
Boom.
Sorry about you. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code JOHNBOY to get $200 in free bets if your team wins when you place a $5 bet on any football game. That's code JOHNBOY only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details.
Stand out for Stand out.
Why are you saying it like that?
You got it, I take it.
NL leads off, bro.
You, me. What did you yell?
I'll go if you want me to go.
When you were doing pop-ups.
What?
I got it. You.
I got it, you take it. I got it,
yeah,
you take it.
That's it? Well, I'll take it. And I'm going to take it to Amed Rosario. Talked about the Guardians. Talked about that beautiful doubleheader day of baseball. 24 innings of pure AL mid. Amed, not Ahmed. He was fantastic. An 8-hit day. I don't care how you do it. I don't care how many innings you play. I don't care if it's a doubleheader. He had 8 hits during a baseball game. And that doesn't include the game-winning contact on an error. Tito had some funny quotes on it. He was like, man, if he didn't have the day he had, we'd still be playing out there. He is a guy that has been a constant for the Guardians this year. 139 games, 282 batting average. The on-base won't impress you. It's a 312. And even the OPS, 713, won't knock your socks off. But he has been day in, day out, so solid for the Guardians. Being able to play shortstop and left field, kind of a unique combo that you don't normally see. Had a huge day at the office, and it's so funny when you see a guy who's locked in and you just know. It's like he is not the guy you want to see at the plate right now. He was that all day in the doubleheader. I know Chris Rose, our local Guardian expert and does baseball today with Trev. He's a big Amed Rosario guy, and guess what? That guy knows ball. So shout out to one of the guys who's been a mainstay for the Guardians this year. And man, Andres Jimenez, that Lindor trade return, not too bad, Trev.
Not too bad. Looking good. Jimenez is a big part of that. But yeah, I mean, it was the Rosario show.
Yeah.
Nice, Jake.
Thank you. I love
my
this
standout. It's going to go a little differently. I'm going to go with a pitcher today. I'm going Jose Quintana. He goes 8 innings pitched, 0 earned runs, 6 Ks, 2 hits, no walks. And, great line and everything. And I guess you're wondering, well, why are you picking him? A lot of people had great outings, including a guy who's on his team, Dakota Hudson.
Yeah.
8 innings pitched, 1 unearned run, 5 Ks. Comes back up for the minor leagues to do that. The reason I'm bringing him up is because the Cardinals made a few moves here that have just worked out, dude. Now we know who's going to be head of the rotation. You have Waino, you have Michaelis, you have Flaherty's come back. He's probably number 5 right now in that rotation. But you got Montgomery and you got Quintana absolutely dealing for you. Quintana pitching to a 2.44 this year, Montgomery to a 2.35. If they don't have those guys, we're not talking about the Cardinals in the same light, dude. We're just not. Dakota Hudson, we'll see what they do with him. He's been in the minors, he's getting a little tune-up. He comes up, does his thing in a doubleheader. Now they have to decide, are they going to keep him? Are they going to – I think they sent him down, actually. But where is he going to be in this rotation? Is he going to be a bullpen guy, a long guy? Quintana is just going to give them depth. And when you have, a long playoff series, you need guys that are going to give you innings, and he's just one of them. It's been really impressive. He kind of goes unnoticed. If you look at his career, you're just not going to mention this guy is with some of the better pitchers in the league, but maybe you should, dude. Overall in his career, he's got a 3.78. When you get a 3 in front of your ERA and you've pitched for as long as he's pitched, it's very impressive. Overall in the year, coming over from Pittsburgh, he's got a 3.16, 2.44 with the Cardinals. He's gotten better with them in crunch time. When things mean something, he's coming and stepping up. And I think that him and Montgomery, too, is super under the radar moves. We kind of were scratching our head do you need these guys? They're just I think we called them both innings eaters. And that's good, but it usually carries with it kind of a negative connotation.
Right.
They're not going to be quality innings. They're just going to pitch a bunch of innings, and that has just not been the case for both of them. So shout out Quintana, continuing to do his thing, and the Cardinals needed it in the worst way, man.
Quintana and Jordan Montgomery have combined for 100+ innings of an ERA around 2.4. 18 starts combined between the two of them. A sneaky, fantastic deadline. And yeah, man, you're right. I mean, that Cardinals playoffs talks are going to become very interesting between Waino, Michaelis. Could you give Monty a pill? I think you could. He's pitched in playoff games before. And you mentioned Jack Flaherty, our guy, as he's figuring it out. Is he in your rotation? Could he be that bullpen weapon? I mean,
there's going to be some long guys, Palante,
Yeah.
Flaherty, they're going to have to figure out what they're doing to all these guys. Hudson, there's going to be guys that are stretched out, which I think kind of works in the Cardinals' favor. I know that's not you want, hey, I want 5 studs in my rotation, but sometimes it just doesn't work out like that. You need guys that are stretched out to save your bullpen in some of these games, and you can piggyback these dudes. I think they have enough pitching where it's okay, we'll just figure out spots for all these guys.
Yeah.
A good problem to have.
That's kind of what the Dodgers have done a little bit, right? I mean, some of those World Series games, even just connecting the pieces. Interested to see where St. Louis is at. Good standout, Trevi. I know Palante hasn't been stretched for a little bit, but see where he's
Is Matt's
at.
back?
Steven Matz is back now. This Cardinals team could. The NL is brutal. The NL is brutal.
It's going to be tough to get. Whoever gets through that, deserves more than just a National League pennant. That is, even just making the World Series in this National League, it's got to feel more than that because of the amount of good teams that are there.
Trev, there's a lot of good standouts. There's a guy that stood out for the wrong reasons, and I need you to hype him up a little bit. Slump Watch. Trev, here's a guy. I would love for you to hype up this guy on multiple levels. Some of the stuff you'd say about this guy would be like, whoa. But Giancarlo Stanton is back in a bad way. 0 for 13. He's striking out a ton. What would you tell Giancarlo Stanton?
I think Stanton might just like push me out of the way and be like,
Yes.
shut up.
Yes.
Like, I'm all right. But what I would say is, hey, listen, bro, you got 300 M's in the bank account plus. Okay, you have the body that everyone wants. You're 6'5", built like a freaking Greek statue. Okay, you're single, I'm pretty sure, which means I know the type of parties that you throw. You've invited me to them before. You'll be all right, big fella. Hey, postseason's here. Yanks need you in the postseason. I don't care about the regular season. 0 for 13, blah, blah, blah. Go do your thing. Be who you can be.
Yeah. God. He's in a bad way. I hope he finds it before October. And guess what? He could also not find it until October 11th. And then if he does in that first at bat,
That's it.
he's still Giancarlo Stanton. And we are not. Matt Olson. Oh, no. 0 for 12? What?
You're fine. Look, we need you to get hot too, because listen, we're fighting against the Mets, and we need this. And I know I can be a little harsh on you because you can take it. You have that type of mentality. Date Jake Storiale's daughter later. Don't worry about that right now. She'll be there, all right? Do your thing. We need to pass the Mets. We need to set up our rotation. So, hey, I'm putting pressure on you because you can handle it.
Harold Ramirez on the Rays has been one of their breakout players this year, and he's busted out an 0 for 10. Nice hair.
Still hitting 306 on the year. Rays are still in the postseason. You're a big part of the reason why. Continue to do your thing, all right? 125 OPS plus on the year. You've improved immensely. Draw from that. It's not about 2 series. It's about a full season, and you've been doing it, so continue to go, my guy.
I think I'm going to cut the last guy off the list for those at home that are in the sheet. I'm taking John Birdie off. I'm sorry, John Birdie. 0 for 9. Do your thing. Run fast. And because I wanted to end on a crescendo, because the last fellow on the list is your boy, Evan Longoria.
What I would say to Longo is, what do you need me to do, bro?
Yeah.
Can I help you out in any way possible? I don't need to pump you up. You're one of the more confident guys I've ever met, and I've drawn some of that from you. You know how I go. I go around people. I look at the positive traits, and I try to take something. I try to learn from people. Longo taught me to be confident in myself. Longo has been my North Star in my baseball career 100%. Likable guy, does things the right way, works hard, has stated his position, Gold Glover, can rake. I love everything. Great father. I love everything about Longoria. Don't sweat it, big dog. I got you. Whatever you need. You need me to kill somebody? I will. I'll do it for you.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Trev, this next group of guys, they don't need the pep talk right now, but they deserve some love.
Dirt nasties on Fuego. That means I'm on fire, baby. Like Waco.
What else can we say about Yordan? I'm going to talk about him in a little bit, but 9 for 17. We'll leave it at that. Pretty good, Yordan. Renifo, we already talked about you, bro. 5 for 12, 4 homers, 7 RBIs. Judge, we know what you did. 7 for 12, 2 homers, 2 doubles, 4 RBI. Willie Adames talked about you. 5 for 11, 2 homers, double, 7 RBI. Ronald Acuna Jr., you got to do it without Ozzy, too. You can do it, big guy. 4 for 11, 2 homers. Is that 4 for 11, 2 homers? It's all right. And Fuego, a little light this week. Chappie getting it going. 4 for 10, 2 homers, 4 RBI. And then William Contreras, 5 for 12, 2 homers, 3 RBI. And there's more on the next sheet. Javier Baez getting it going a little bit too late there. No doubt about that. 6 for 8, a homer, a triple, a double. Does he end? He was just shy of a cycle. What did he need? Beavers, look that up for us, man. And then Oswaldo Cabrera of the Yankees, 5 for 10, a homer, a double, 2 doubles, and 2 RBI, 4 walks.
If a moment finds that kid in the playoffs, get excited. It looks like he's got some stones. And how about Javi Baez? I know we haven't been talking a lot of a lot of Tigers. Javi Baez's been hitting the ball a little bit lately. He's having a nice month of September. 379, 410, a 1.048 OPS. Hopefully, Javi, for Tiger fans, he can carry that into next year because up to September, yuck.
Homer short of the cycle on September 16th, but got a homer later in the series. So
Okay, that's what it was.
He can get his OPS plus north of 100. I don't know. Small wins. Small wins in Detroit. Trev, our final part of the show is the
Awards.
That was like that Drake emoji where he's like to your voice and he goes like that to
Yeah.
Kelsey's voice. That's
Not
exactly
that,
what I just did right
but
there.
give me that. And give me Cuts, Trev. Cuts is professional, modern performance apparel, clothing. And by the way, there are some hot boys in baseball wearing Cuts right now. How about Bryce Harper? Saw him almost naked once. Walker Buehler, been on the show, stud. Mariano Rivera, there was a clip of him and Trev posted on the internet today. Mariano getting his most saves in MLB history. Trevor Plouffe grounds out powerfully to shortstop.
Second base.
Second base, excuse me.
chugging down the line.
There would have been a shift. That would have been a hit nowadays. Anyways, Cuts. They make the long sleeve Henley. It's about to get that time of year. The Northeast is making the change weather-wise that you're going to want to get a few of those lined up. That short sleeve crew neck, you know, I've got this collarbone, and if I don't show it off, I'm kind of doing a disservice to the rest of the people. So, Cuts, you need to check them out. Join the thousands of men who already have and get 15% off your first order by going to cutsclothing.com/baseball. Cutsclothing.com/baseball. 15% off, the only shirt worth wearing. Go check them out. Hot Boy Summer's winding down, but happy Thoughtum coming up. Let's get our Cuts on. Trev, no cuts when it comes to awards. Trev, I'll go first. NL today. And I'm giving the Pass the Joint award. I know you like when I reference any of the medical stuff. I guess we are a we are a 420 friendly podcast. I guess that's official.
Yeah.
Go check out when Trev's prediction came true. Still one of the best Talking Baseball episodes ever. Trev, I don't know how much I mentioned it here. I mentioned it on Wake and Jake. We've done Judge Ohtani for a while now and wanted to see how everything's sorted out. And would Ohtani continue to be good? Would Judge continue to be great? They both have, and it's a different kind of special, right? Like, you could throw your Ohtani stats at me, and I'd say, yeah, it's nuts. Nobody's ever done that. Aaron Judge, as you just said, maybe having the best statistical offensive season we have ever seen in an era of pitching in a year where offense is down. Like you said, trying to pick those guys apart is almost becoming a fool's errand because, like, both sides are right. Where I stumbled into, I'm almost okay with them getting a co-MVP this year, if that's how it sorts out. It'd be great marketing for the sport. People would be talking about it. Both guys deserve it. You could start doing some commercials. Anything you can do, I can do better. Ohtani and Judge. You can make these guys both like international stars. And why not, right? I know America and a lot of people probably listening just hate that concept because most valuable player could only be one, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? When I hear about a co-MVP from back in the day, I've never heard a single person being like, they shouldn't have shared that. I'm sure there's some old person out there that's mad about it still. But guess what? I think in a couple years we would move on and be fine about it. Trev, I'm starting to get to the same way with a joint NL Rookie of the Year. Because in Atlanta right now, Money Mike, Michael Harris too, in center field, has been an absolute force. Remember, there was a time this year when we were talking about the Braves train not really leaving the station, And it felt like when he joined this team, they went. And in 99 games, 305, Mr. Worldwide, a 344 on base, 885 OPS while playing elite defense in center field, 18 homers, 16 steals. The year this cat is having in center field may only be usurped by his friend on the mound. Those thighs, Spencer Strider, is the fastest to reach 200 strikeouts of any player. Ever.
Randy Johnson, he beat.
Ever. Spencer Strider, 20 games started, 31 games total, 131 innings pitched, 2.67 ERA, and a 2.02 strikeouts. Spencer Strider is the slight Vegas favorite as of right now. It's just the two of them up there. They both have negative odds right now. And I tell you what, maybe I'm going soft at an old age. Maybe these next couple weeks sort it out. Maybe someone has a bad couple weeks and someone has a great couple weeks and there's not an argument. I'm not betting against either of these kids. I don't know. If I'm willing out to give co-awards for everything, then they're not really awards, right? But I don't know how you pick between these two guys. What they're doing is so different and so special at the same time. And like you said, I mean, Spencer Strider, ever. And I think that's currently why he has the leg up with his 202 strikeouts and 131.2 innings. I don't know. I'm glad I don't have a vote. How about that?
It is really tough. I think, did you read the Vegas odds? 140 to 105. That's as close as it's going to get. Do I like the idea of co-rookie of the year? I do. I don't care. I really don't care. I think giving both of them that label's fine. I think both of them will be okay with it as long as they got the label. They both deserve it. Another example of how the Braves organization is just winning.
Yeah.
Like, I think if Money Mike got up a little sooner, when I guess both of them, Strider didn't go into the rotation until the end of May, and Money Mike, when was his debut? Did you say it?
He's going to have his 100th game played. So, I mean, he missed a month or two, month and a half.
You could argue about the value for both of them. So I'm on board for it. This is going to be a very difficult decision for voters. I'd be okay if they decided to go both.
Michael Harris was May 28th. He got the call. And yeah, Strider, they messed with his usage a little bit. I mean, if you're a WAR person, Harris has the higher WAR. Strider's been up essentially since the start of the year, but yeah, he didn't start getting starts until also the end of May. So, I don't know, man. I don't know.
All right. I love it. I think both. I'm in for that.
Joints.
I like that.
All about him. What do you got, Trev?
I'm trying to get my boys' page up. There we go. My award is it's called the Buddy the Elf Award.
Yes.
Now, I love the movie Elf. It's a great movie. We all know Will Ferrell playing Buddy. He's a human that gets left at the North Pole. He crawls into Santa's sack. I don't want to ruin the movie for people.
Spoilers,
He's not an elf.
Oh, shit.
He's not an elf. He's in the wrong world. The elf world, is too small for him. Okay, he sits at the table, the desk, and breaks it. He's riding around on the what's that called? The trike. It's too small for him. When I watch Yordan Alvarez on a baseball field, I feel like he's Danny Almonte, bro. Like, he shouldn't be playing at this level. Okay, like, he looks like a 14-year-old playing on a 12-year-old baseball field, 200 feet, just absolutely cracking the ball. He hit 3 homers against the A's in his first 3 at-bats. They won a combined 1,329 feet. There is nothing soft about this guy. And I wanted to have more stats to back this up and talk about, like, his no-doubt percentage and stuff. Judge leads everyone in all of that. He's got 60% no doubt 59 homers. Has the most no doubters of anybody. That makes a lot of sense. But go ahead and go to Yordan's Baseball Savant page. I don't think I've ever seen one better than this. And I can't, is this like right? Am I clicking the wrong things? Hard hit percentage, 100 percentile. Expected slugging, 100 percentile. Walk percentage, 97 percentile. Average exit velocity, 100 percentile. Max exit velocity, 99 percentile. I can keep going on and on, people. The only thing he's not good at is running. Gives a shit about that. He trots all the time.
Yeah.
I've been singing Yordan's praise for a long time. There's still time to jump on the bandwagon. Watch this dude hit. Tell me he's not one of the better hitters in all of baseball. His approach alone will tell you that. And then you see the power and like the way this dude hits the ball. He looks like he's like, I coach youth baseball. There are times when there's just a kid that's just bigger and just hits the ball harder and just more physical than the other kids. And there's nothing the other kids can do about it. Sometimes I feel that way about Yordan. He hits the ball too hard. He hits the ball too far. He looks like he should be playing at a different freaking level, man. So he gets my buddy the Elf Award because it's like he's not even from this world. He's a freaking stud.
Yeah, I mean, I just clicked on a couple of his home runs on Baseball Savant, and they end up in parts of ballparks I'm not familiar with. I mean, apparently there's a nice right field area in Kansas City that you can sit and think you're not going to get hit with a baseball, but Yordan sent one up there. He had a home run in Oakland this year that's just, you see that Oakland right field and you picture where those home run balls land, and his is, a half a football field past it. On the Yankees broadcast, they, obviously, they're talking a lot of Aaron Judge. That makes sense. And they were saying, like, who can even make it look like this? And to their credit, the only guy they really brought up was Yordan. Like, with just the pure size and the ease and the consistency of being able to hit that many home runs. And he's a guy that should probably be discussed more of best young ball players and best hitters, because he is one dotting this year now. A 1.037. He's a career 978 OPS. He's got 98 home runs at the ripe age of 25. Like, this guy, you're absolutely right, Trev. He's from another planet. And he is he's a beast. And in the past 2 years, he's hit 37 home runs this year in 122 games. He would be the only one that if he had been healthy the whole year, he still wouldn't be in Judge's range, but he'd probably be sitting at the high 40s, and you'd be like, wow, this guy's a nut job.
Actually, as I was sifting through some stats on Baseball Savant, they have the average. Oh, let me tell you something. I found something that Judge is deficient in.
Nice.
Might cost him the MVP.
Okay.
Average home run trot. Slow it down, big boy. Get to the Vladdy Guerrero Jr. and the Rafael Devers. They're averaging 28.7 seconds per home run.
Yeah.
This is I narrowed it down to home run hitter, so 25 homers is the minimum you can have on my list. Vladdy, Devers, Machado, Soto, Santander taking his time, Adolis Garcia, and guess what? Rowdy's 7th with 27 seconds, and Judge all the way down to 22nd on that list, 23.7 seconds to get around the bases. Is it because of the long strides?
Yeah.
I don't know, but slow down, big guy. Long
stride. It takes more work to slow down those hush puppies.
Hitting a lot of homers. We don't have that much time.
Let's look at the worst average. I went 5 home runs now.
Okay.
Minimum.
Slowest trots. Give me like a Yachty.
Ronald Acuna Jr., baby.
Yeah,
take it
buddy.
easy. 29.2. Okay.
Enjoy him, Ronnie. Enjoy him. Trev. Yeah, great stuff. Yordan's one of those guys I don't think we can talk about enough. One of the best young players in the game, an argument to be like the best hitter in the game.
And Yordan's 25 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, he's he might be chasing down 5 bills one day, which, by the way, I said might because a lot of stuff can happen in a baseball career, and Albert Pujols is going for 700. the next couple weeks. So tune into my guy. Guys, we are going to be talking to you midweek, Friday recap. We might have history on our hands by then.
I'm going camping.
You're going
People
camping.
know this. I'm
I
going to
know.
be out. I'm going to do the midweek tomorrow. Won't be there Friday. Do I have to bring my stuff in case we get these home runs?
I don't know. I mean, I like when you travel with your stuff anyways.
I'm going to bring my stuff.
Bring your stuff.
Nice to have
If there's
it.
an
If I got to go with freaking trout-laced hands,
Yeah.
smelling like salmon eggs and power bait, and deliver, a show for the people, I will.
Comment below about Trevor Plouffe's fishy-smelling hands. Thank you, guys. Ran a long one today because guess what? It's basically playoff series. We stumbled into like 3 fake playoff series this week. Enjoy the baseball. Enjoy.
I'll keep going right now. Fuck it. Let's
We'll
go.
keep it rolling, Beebs. We're out of here. Thank you, everyone. Best of luck to your team, I guess. And we'll see you back Wednesday.
Taiwan Walker 7.1.
Best friend of the week.
Stud. Hot. Big feet.
Love you, chat. Way to step it up. today.
Huge chat day.
Chick sucks.
Dick sucks. I'm not going camping in a tent, people. What do you think this is? 30-foot Class A. I'm taking it up there. 7-hour drive. I'm on the wheel of that.